Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel today. This is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me, and today I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone because I'm making a little mini album. Now as you'll know if you've followed me for a while, mostly I make cards because I send a lot of cards and that's what I use. I'm not hugely into making 3D projects, although I do them occasionally, and I certainly have never made an album before. But my good friend Jez Carpenter, who you can find on the internet as Nigezza Creates, Nigezza, is a great one for making mini albums, and she issued a challenge the other day to make a mini album, and so I decided to take part, and this is what I made. This was my little mini album. I've used the Petal Promenade papers here with a bit of pink ribbon here, the ruffled ribbon, and this lovely greetings from the Detailed with Love stamp set, and a few of our self-adhesive sequins, really pretty. And inside, so I've got 8 pages with a pocket in each, so that you can put a picture on each of these cards, a photograph on each of these cards, and then I've made a label below here to do a little bit of journaling, so maybe the date or maybe a memory that the photo generates. So this beautiful paper, which is actually hidden for a bit, but when you take the cards out you can see it. And then this paper as well, really beautiful papers, but not too in your face. I didn't want them to take over the album, and I've used the Labels to Love stamp set here to make these little labels. So really pretty, really enjoyed making it. And today, so I was thinking that this would be a nice album to give somebody who's just had a baby, with some pictures of the baby or something like that. And I thought, well, this is a very girly one with pink and petal pink, so maybe I would make one in blues and greens for a boy. So the papers I'm going to use today are from the Twinkle Twinkle set. I'm going to use these 2 papers, one which is forgotten what colour that is, hang on, give me a moment. Soft something I want to say, it is Soft Seafoam, that's it. Soft Seafoam, and this one is Pool Party. Really pretty delicate patterns on there, bit stronger on the back, but that's all right because again this is going to be mostly hidden by the cards. So I've got 2 of each of these. I can't show you because I've already started putting the album together, but I had 2 sheets of these papers. The first thing we need to do is a little bit of scoring. So I'll bring my scoreboard in, and the first thing you need to do is decide which side of the paper you want showing and which is going to be your pocket. So if I show you where I've started, this is my background and this is where the pocket is going to be. So I wanted this paper facing up. So you're going to score at 4 centimetres, which is here. 4 inches, sorry, not 4 centimetres, 4 inches. So 6 by 6 sheet of paper, okay, and then fold that up. I actually made a mistake with my scoring when I was doing this before, but that's fine. And then turn it around and you need to score at 3 inches. So the first score is at 4 inches, the second score is down the middle at 3. And that gives you 2 of your pages for your little album. So burnish all those folds so that you've got nice crisp folds and that it all meets up. And then this one I have already scored, so just put that together. I can get rid of my scoreboard now. So the first thing we're going to do is glue all of these together. So we've got here's the one I started. So I wanted Soft Seafoam on the front. I didn't want it to be too blue, so I wanted the green on front. So I've got green, then I've glued 2 together there, so then I've got the Pool Party one. I'm now going to glue the green onto there, so I'm just backing the ones that are plain without the pockets on. So take my Tombow glue and just a little bit of glue. Do it as lightly as you can. You don't want loads of glue splurging out and spoiling it and sticking the pages together where you don't want. So very lightly, there we go. Stick that one together there, so that's sticking to that one. So line them up so that there you've got nice even pages, like so. And then the last one is going to go on the back. So a little bit more Tombow here. And stick that one on there. So now I've got that's my album, all the pages of my album, like so. So line them up. The liquid glue will give you a minute to wiggle them into place so that you've got them nice and even. So that's fine. The next thing I need to do, and I've done it on these ones, is to make a pocket, we need to glue down the very edges of these. So I'm going to go in and put a little bit of glue down here, very fine amount of glue right near the edge, so that you leave as much pocket as you can to get the cards into. And then again here, there we go, and just glue up there. So that's the basics of my album. Okay, so I just need to be careful that the glue that I've used for the pockets isn't going to glue it all together, because I don't want the pages to stick. There we go. I know Nigeza goes around with her embossing buddy that just stops any of the glue from sticking. I haven't got mine handy today though. So just burnish it a little bit more, make sure it's all nice and fixed, and just make sure it'll open and is not sticking together. There we go. So that's the basis of my album. I'm now going to come round and do a binding. If you look here, we did a binding at the corner here just to keep them all stuck together. So for this, you need a piece of card which is 3.5 centimetres by just over 3 inches, because I want it to be longer at the moment and then I'm going to trim it off. In inches, that measures 1 3/8 wide. And I'm going to come back in with my scoreboard. Thought I'd finished with it, but I haven't. And I'm just going to score at every 1/8 of an inch to give it a nice, so it's got a bit of flexibility. So just score at every mark on your scoreboard. Better with the small embossing tool rather than the large ball one. So just do that, and then you might need to turn it around because it gets very close and a bit difficult to manoeuvre. So there we go. And that's just going to fold round where all those pages come together. Again, we're going to use Tombow glue on this. Oh, before I stick it on though, I need to put my ribbon on, because my ribbon goes underneath and it's held in place by the spine. So I've got a bit of our glitter ribbon here in Pool Party, so that's going to match really nicely. I'm going to take a little bit of tear and tape just to hold the ribbon in place while I stick, and I'm going to put that roughly in the middle here. I'm doing it by eye, but you could measure of course if you wanted to. Just bring in my tweezers, and there we go. Now I'm going to fold the ribbon in half. I've got, let me measure the ribbon, it's about 17 inches of ribbon, and I'm going to fold it in half and stick that, oh, I stuck the pad, stick that there. Then I know I'll have enough to make a bow, a nice bow. So just stick that in there, and then the binding will hold that in place as well. So that goes there. It's going to be this way up actually, isn't it? Okay, and then the binding, I'm just going to try and curve it round a bit so that it's, so that will give you a bit of, and then that can go on like that. So quite a bit of glue needed on this because it's actually got to stick really well. So don't skimp on the glue on this bit, although you still don't want it all squitching out of the sides, but quite a bit of glue. And then we'll put this round here, and I'm actually going to put that to one side to let it dry a little bit before I come and trim it off. So just stick that there. So as you see, I've got glue squitching out there, so don't use too much glue, otherwise you'll spoil the look of your project. So got the binding on there. Like I say, I'm going to leave that just to glue properly while I do the greeting for the front. And the greeting that I used was So Many of My Smiles Begin With You. Really pretty, and really I liked it cut out with the scallop. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do it in Pool Party. So I've got my Pool Party pad, got a scrap piece of white Whisper White card, and I've got my stamp mounted on a D block. Doesn't really matter which way up because I'm going to cut it out anyway, but just checking that it's the right way up. My pill party pad is getting a bit dry now because I've used it so much. It's one of my older ones. Just want to make sure it's inked properly, and then onto that. Nice push, and there we go. Oh, it's beautiful. I really love this stamp. I love the detail on it, the little dots all the way around. It looks like stitching. And then I just need to bring in my very, very old die cutter. I need one of the scallop from the layering ovals. We're going to sit that on there. What that's going to do is give us a white scalloped border. So, and I'm just going to hold it in place with a little bit of washi tape, because I don't tend to use my magnetic platform very much. So where's my die cutter? Here. I don't tend to do much die cutting on camera, but I will just cut this for you. So make sure it's still straight and just whoosh it through your die cutter. See, my plates are very well used. Should only need to go through once. It shouldn't cut. There we go. It's fallen straight out. Excellent. So, oh, that was one of my plates went flying. Okay, put that away. Okay, so now this has dried really nicely. Okay, so I am now going to trim. So I'm going to come in at the top here, and I can trim that really close now, so I get a nice edge. I didn't want any little bits hanging over. And same on this side. I can trim that right down. I do like things to be finished off with a nice edge, and that's not quite close enough for me, so I'm going to go back and do a bit more. I like really crisp edges lined up properly to make my projects look really professional. Don't like odd bits. There we go. And is this bit all finished off properly? I think that side is all right. That bit might need a little bit more trimming off. I just want it all to line up exactly. There we go. There we go. Oh, I've trimmed a little bit of that off now. There we go. Right, so coming in here, I am going to put this on some dimensionals and stick that on the front there. So I've cut my dimensionals. These are the large dimensionals, but I've cut them in half because you don't really need a whole one. And I'm a bit of a thrifty crafter when I can be, because I'd rather save my money to buy dies and stamp sets rather than all the sort of boring essentials. So I cut mine down to half size, and they work perfectly well. Where are they? There we go. And one in the middle there. Oops, next one there, don't need that one. So I'm just going to take this off, and I'm just going to get up and have a peek at the time. Oh, we're 13 minutes, so I've got to hurry up a bit here because my camera will only tape for 16 minutes, which is why my videos are never very long. So I need to make sure I finish before 16 minutes. So we're nearly done actually though. I'm just going to quickly show you how I made the cards to go in the side, the album. So, and before I stick this on, oh, there's another one there. I'm just going to put a little bit of tear and tape. I tell you what I'm going to do, instead of rushing this, I'm going to do a second video, I think. So I've made the basis of the album. I'm going to come back in and show you how I decorated it, which will be a very quick little video, but I don't want to rush at the end of this, and I don't want it to cut off before I've finished. So there's that, and there's that. So that's the front of my album. So these ribbons will tie up really nicely. Like I say, I'm going to come back in and show you what I did with the inside of my album in the next video. So stay tuned. It will come out the day, one day after. There we go. And I'll show you how I decorated the inside of my album. So for now, bye bye. If you want to buy any of the products, just go down to the links and you can click through to my shop. Don't forget the bonus days. Promotion is on at the moment, and I'll see you again later to finish off our album. Bye for now. Bye.